Good evening, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of the Indulge podcast. Today, we have with us Arav Krishnan, the frontman of the Bangalore based band Skelos, and also the lead guitarist for the alternative rock band Ebb+Flow. Arav, it's wonderful having you here. Thank you so much for taking out the time and speaking to us.
Thank you so much.
So, getting straight into the interview, tell us about how your musical journey began.
So I started playing guitar, I think 6 years back. I think it was 2018. I just started. My dad asked me to actually enroll into guitar classes, and I did it for fun. It wasn't really, something I was super passionate about, but it was a fun hobby on the side. Then I slowly got into like rock and metal music, and I had a really cool guitar teacher then too. He was also into this kind of stuff, so he used to show me how to play this stuff, and I was like, damn, I need to be able to know how to play that stuff. And then sort of that started the whole thing of practicing, wanting to get better, and that process like addictive. So then you just keep practicing more, playing more, writing more, and then as you keep doing that, I think you get better and better.
Interesting. So, was there a particular reason why you chose to start your career in rock music?
I think I just love rock and metal music. So to me, it was more about not doing this for money or fame or anything like that. I honestly couldn't care less about any of that. I'd rather not be famous actually. But I love writing the kind of music that I write. It makes me feel good and it helps me express my own emotions and thoughts and stuff like that. And it's a lot of fun. I think it's a very fun genre of music to play, especially live. The energy from playing metal shows is crazy. You just can't find that anywhere else. So yeah, I think the whole main answer is it's just fun.
So, have you tried, switching to other genres for that?
I've never tried switching. I have experimented because I think, and other people have told me as well, to like grow as a musician and an artist, you need to try out other genres and experiment. So yeah, I've done a little bit of soft rock. I helped produce a friend's pop album actually. It did pretty decent. It charted in the Apple iTunes, what do you call, pop charts in India. I think it's charted at 200 or something, which is not bad at all. And I helped produce that, wrote a few guitar solos here and there. So I'm not hands-on involved in writing stuff like that, but if every once in a while, if I get an interesting project or something I think is cool, I definitely don't mind trying it out.
Interesting. So, you mentioned that your father enrolled you into
Yeah.
guitar classes. So, in a society, particularly in India, where every parent wants their kid to become an engineer or a doctor or anything of that sorts, how difficult was it to convince your parents, or easy for that matter?
Actually, not difficult at all. Been very lucky to have great and understanding parents. And the moment they saw that it became something more than just a hobby, it became like my dream and my passion. They understood that okay, maybe it makes sense for him to do this. And again, obviously, you can't blindly let someone do something. So they had to see a little bit of proof of the process, a little proof of the result before I could go as full time into it as I am now. And that came slowly over the years with like little bit of outside validation from people in the industry, and just in general I think as I got better they started to believe in that more as well. And now it's to a point where this is my life, this is my career, so I'm very happy that they've allowed me to pursue this seriously.
Interesting. So, once you started with rock music, did your parents also start listening to rock music?
So my mom definitely did. My dad used to listen to rock and metal, I think, in his college days. So him and his friends, so he was already sort of familiar.
Interesting. So, does before you just maybe produce music, do
Yeah.
you run it through your parents or just make them listen to what you are planning of doing?
Once in a while, every once in a while, especially if I think it's something they like, I'll send it over, but not all the time.
So they give their feedback as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Interesting. So, when you perform, how do you try to you make yourself better every time you perform?
So I have a mantra, like a whole standard for me, that is every show has to be better than the previous show. So that means like with every show you learn a lot of stuff. Like 10 things will go right, 10 things will go wrong. 5 things could have gone better but were still decent. So I think I just sort of like to reflect back on what went right, what went wrong. What can I do better? What can my bandmates do better? How can we sound better? So I think that journey is also kind of fun. You pinpoint stuff, you have a discussion, say, hey, maybe we weren't sounding that good because we didn't have I don't know, we didn't set up something properly. Or I'll give you an example. At my last show, I was playing with these boots that we had done at Oddball last week. And I wasn't able to practice with the boots because most jam pads have this rule that you practice without footwear, which is fair enough. They don't want their studio getting dirty. But then the boots, they were too big for the processor. So I accidentally clicked, a couple of the wrong buttons and all that. So that's a learning for me. So either practice with the boots or, we figure out a solution to make sure that doesn't happen again. So it's small things like that that sort of add up to being better.
So, was it a particular reason why you chose a guitar? I mean, rock music for that matter has a lot of instruments, but was there a particular reason why you chose to play the guitar?
Not really. I mean, I love playing the guitar a lot, but I want to learn the drums now, as well. And I do vocals as well. I have a small keyboard at home, which I occasionally play around with. So, at this point, I'll play any instrument, bro. It's just too much fun.
Interesting. So, apart from the guitar, which is your other favorite instrument? Is it the drums or is it the keyboard?
Definitely the drums.
It gives you that adrenaline rush.
Yeah, and it's also it's physical and mental. The whole barriers to being a very good drummer, and it's a very fun journey. Same with guitar actually, but drums it's on a whole nother level, especially the physical endurance to play metal at that kind of tempo and those kind of complicated parts. I can imagine it'll be really fun.
Okay. So, you're part of two bands. So,
Yeah.
can you tell us about the formation or how did these bands come together?
So my primary project is ARK, is the Arav Krishnan, which I keep releasing music. So that I've been releasing music for the last 3.5, 4 years. First that was independently, then last year, no, last year ending around 2022 ending, got signed to a label and then we released an album through them. Got a producer, Nikhil from Chaos, the thrash metal band Chaos. So that process has been very organic from the start. I've just been doing it by myself, and as we scaled up and it got to a point where I'm playing live, I played the first few shows live with backing tracks. Then we set up ARK and set up the band, and then got members and all of that. And the other projects is just Ebb+Flow is basically a side project with one of my very good friends, Sabya. So he's in college. That's why we're not doing much anymore. But when he's back, we'll write more music because that's how it always goes. That was just something we do for fun. And Skelos was something my friend Saidat had asked me to come scream on. So yeah, that's how it originated.
Interesting. So, you mentioned that you are a vocalist as well.
Yeah.
So, and being an instrumentalist and a vocalist, how do you manage to, strike a balance between both these two worlds?
So, like in a studio recording, it's not difficult because you have your elements, you have your song, you have your guitar parts, you have your vocal parts. Live, it's very difficult. And I end up cursing myself a lot of the time. Like, why do you make this riff so hard? Because playing them is something, singing and playing them is a whole other beast. So then, I've figured out a method finally to practice my own songs to get the parts, lined up together, singing and playing. And that's what I've been doing with all these shows. I have this system where I try to lock the starting of the phrase with like a certain note in the guitar riff. So then that's sort of imprinted in my head. And then every time I'm playing it, I won't forget it. I might forget the lyrics, but I won't forget, to sing and play at the same time. Especially with thrash metal, it's a little bit more on the technical side, so it gets a little difficult. But I don't mind. It's fun.
Interesting. So, you mentioned about performing live. So, you have been part of many performances. So, till now, which has been your most memorable performance?
I think it would have to be Oddball because that was a very big stage, and we had the honor of playing on the same stage that bands like Leprous, Abuse, Inner Sanctum and all played, and that's still crazy to me. So the fact that we got to play on the same stage is something else.
So, how was that experience of performing at Oddball?
It was crazy, like it was so hectic and all of that stuff, but we really pulled together, we got it done. And at the end, like the sense of pride from just being on the same stage as these guys, it's just something else.
Interesting. Okay. So, being a musician, do you follow a lot of bands and musicians?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, which are your favorite ones?
Oh man, now that's a difficult question.
You can tell all of them.
I don't think we have enough time. Thrash metal, I have your usual Metallica, Testament, Slayer, Exorder, and if you go to groove metal, Pantera, Lamb of God, Huge fan of melodic death metal, so bands like Bellacore, Dark Tranquility, classic heavy metal, obviously Iron Maiden, Judas Priest. I actually, it's hard to find subgenres in metal I don't like. Let's just put it that way. I'm a huge post rock fan as well. Hell, I even like some old school rap, Outkast, Run DMC, all of that stuff. Some of my friends got me into that. It's
Okay.
actually quite good.
So, when did you start listening to rock music? Was it something that you were, exposed to from childhood itself?
Yeah, sort of. So my dad again used to listen to Metallica, Sting, so all hard rock, heavy metal types. So I sort of grew up, listening to that kind of stuff, and I guess it made an impression because then I started listening to Linkin Park in like fifth or sixth grade. That was a huge just thing discovery for me. Because from Linkin Park I found Slipknot, and I got into heavier stuff, heavier stuff. But I still love Linkin Park. I mean, they have a special place in my heart. But yeah, that whole journey of discovering the next band, next band, next band, and then it got to this point. Actually, even now I keep doing that. There's an interesting new band, definitely check them out.
So how do you get to know about these bands? How do you search for them?
So back then, obviously, I wasn't in the whole know of things. Now I have friends also like, hey, bro, check this out, and like 5, 6 guys like that, and I'm also the same guy for them. I have YouTube. My algorithm, I don't actually let other people watch videos on my phone. I'm like, my algorithm is perfect right now, don't touch it. I get the videos I want to watch, so don't mess that up. YouTube also recommends good stuff. Spotify recommends good stuff to me. Again, same thing. I don't let anyone use my Spotify also because it again caters to my taste. It keeps recommending me new music. So exactly that's how. And then occasionally bands will also be talking about another band, and I'm like, oh, these guys cool. Okay, let me check them out. So sort of that combination of all of this.
Lovely. So recently you released your first album.
Yeah.
So can you tell us more about it?
Yeah. So the album we released was The Fallen System, and I think that by far till date that's the best work I've ever done. So that album took like 1.5 years to make. I had written about 45, 50 songs,
Wow.
and then we sort of cut it down, cut it down, cut it down. What fits the theme? What fits the theme? What doesn't? What sounds good? What doesn't? So again, my producer, which is Nikhil Watooth from Chaos, he's a very, very good musician, and obviously thrash circles, he's legendary. So he really knows what he's doing. So we both sort of kept critically listening, and we cut down the songs to about 9 from that 30, 35 demos. And then from then we'd have these writing sessions that I would go to his house, we'd sit for like 5, 6 hours, take a song, completely rework it, add some stuff, remove some stuff, combine riffs from other songs that we like but that didn't make the cut. So that whole process I think took a couple of months of going back and forth every weekend, all of that. But I'm glad we did that because we got a nice sounding album. Then I needed a theme, and then I'm very interested in dystopia. So 1984, especially that kind of a theme. So I tried my best to create a storyline that sort of describes the onset of dystopia and then how it ends. So if you see the album, sort of it goes like this, like the whole storyline. There's a inception, how like dystopia sets in, causes. So like songs like Rebel Without a Cause, like what happens in society, what can trigger that, worsen that. Then it goes to digital invasion. It's a little bit cliche, but I think once in a while I couldn't resist, bro. So I went with that. Then the album ends with Aftermath. So Aftermath is the aftermath of everything that's happened. So I wanted to sort of set this dark, dystopian, heavy soundscape because I don't know, I just love that whole theme. Then the lyricism sort of reflected that, and we worked hard on the production elements also. And we got some brilliant musicians to play on this actually. Manu Krishnan, the drummer from Chaos, no relation of mine, by the way, but in case you're wondering. But he's a great guy and a fantastic drummer. So he played the drum parts. Narayan from Inner Sanctum, the same band I saw at Outball also. They're a fantastic band, one of India's best. So he's the bassist, so he played the bass parts, and yeah, I did the guitars and vocals. But it was really fun, bro. Like I would definitely do it again.
So how did you arrive at the name for the album, The Fallen System?
I think that was from a lyric I had written like 3 years back. Me and a friend, we used to also write lyrics. Even when I wasn't writing an album, I used to write lyrics here and there when I was in the mood. I think I picked it up from that. I thought it was a nice title, and that would really drive home like what the album's about. And I was looking for something like that because, like, you hear the Fallen System, you know exactly what the album's about. So I wanted something that would do that. I had no.
You mentioned that there are 9 songs in the album, right?
Yeah,
So,
10, including the intro, but that's not really a song.
so out of these, which one took the most time and which one is the most interesting one?
Most time would be Fame 15 minutes long. That's especially for me recording that. That's not an easy song. The amount of endurance you need to play that song, and I think that's at 185, 190 BPM. So it's pretty fast.
Yes.
But the most interesting one, and I'm biased. Okay, I'm a guitar player. I'll openly admit it. But it's Digital Invasion because that's the best guitar solo I played on the album. For me, that actually no, most interesting would be Aftermath. We have this really slow ballad-like section, and it's quite heavy. And sometimes there's not even guitar. There's just like synths, clean guitars, and there's like a bass thing going on. I think that's one of the better tracks on the album. That's really drives home the mood. And that would be the choice.
Okay. So, what are you planning on next after the release of this album?
So we've been talking to people who know more about the scene than I do because, like, just generally to get their opinions and all that. I keep writing music. I mean, for me, that's releasing something, not releasing something. I keep writing music. I like to do that either way. But let's see. Maybe next year I'll have a new record out. I have no idea. For now, I think just play shows. Figure out how to grow ARK and how to grow me as a brand and sort of grow more. I think that's a focus, whether that's through playing shows, maybe releasing something or working on a video. I have no clue. Let's see how it goes.
Interesting. So, apart from your musical life, do you follow OTT shows and movies?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of comedy movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, which one was the last one that you saw?
Tropic Thunder.
And apart from that, do you follow any fashion brands that you particularly love?
Fashion, not really. I have friends who do fashion, but me not so much. I have people tell me what to wear, and I'm okay.
So you used to have long hair before.
Yeah.
So was it a prerequisite for having being part of a rock band?
I mean, I used to like it back then. I don't know how I liked it actually. Because now, especially, I work out a lot also. So, like, the amount of sweat, you need to plan your baths like 4 hours in advance. And, like, I'm done with that, bro. Crew cut. Like, if you take a bath at 1 in the night, your hair will dry in 2 minutes. Like, no headache, nothing. And it's like 3 kgs heavier with the long hair. They're like, yeah, my friend actually, we both started growing my long hair around the same time. That guy's just lazy, and I was doing it for the metal thing. I love him, but he's lazy. He won't disagree. So that fellow still doesn't cut it, and he's been growing for like 3.5 years. His hair comes in like he's like 90 kg. I think 6 kgs is just on top of his head. So, it's crazy.
Lovely. So, when talking about the current trends in music, do you see a lot of younger generation going into rock music or making a career in rock music?
I don't really see it. I would like to see it though. I mean, I hopefully more people start doing this because I think there's a lot of merit in pursuing a career. I mean, obviously in India the scene isn't that big. There's not really much money in it, which is I think something we can work on and slowly build the scene and make it bigger. But I think the way to build it is by getting more people into doing it in the first place. So then the market becomes bigger, no?
Absolutely.
So I hope to see that actually. That would be great.
Right. So you've performed in other cities as well.
Yeah.
I've heard that you've performed in Delhi and places like that. So how has the crowd reaction been in such cities?
So Delhi's been great actually. It's a like smaller crowd, but very active. Like those guys really care about the music, and it was great fun. And I also played in Kharagpur, IIT Kharagpur, and that was also a pretty cool crowd. Like they were pretty receptive to the kind of music we were playing. So, not bad at all.
Interesting. So Bangalore as a city is very open to music. It's the perfect place where you can grow because people will accept you with open arms. So how has your journey been as a musician in Bangalore?
It's actually been quite good, and there are a lot of musicians in Bangalore, which is cool because it's nice to meet fellow like-minded people doing the same thing. Even playing in different genres, but they all do the same thing. They go to jam pads, they rehearse, they play shows, they release music. So it's nice to have that community here. And I like the culture in Bangalore because there's a lot of jam pads also. I don't think there are that many jam pads in other cities. In Koramangala only there's like 5. So like I like that. It's good to have a scene with a lot of musicians, because then there tends to be more respect for music as a profession and all that. And yeah, Bangalore's a lovely place to play music. Every time I've played here, very nice crowd has showed up. People have been nice, supportive. So I love to see that.
Lovely. So when you are not working on any music, what does your daily routine look like?
So I work out.
Mhm.
Go to the gym about 5-6 times a week. On top of that, try to swim. Now before shows I usually don't, because I don't want to risk a cold. But otherwise I usually swim again 3-4 times a week on top of gym, or play basketball. Once in a while play cricket. So I'm a very sports and fitness oriented guy. I love playing and even watching sports actually.
So do you take care of your diet as well?
Not actually. I do a pretty decent. I don't eat crap. I don't buy Coke and all of that stuff. I don't have junk, like everyday junk that people have. Like I don't have chocolates. This thing. Once in a month, I go crazy. I order donuts and I'll eat 3 donuts. Like, that's fine, bro. Like, I'm not eating sugar during the week. I'm not eating excess sugar. I'm not buying Coke. And then I'll go like every 2-3 weeks or once in a month. I'm like, okay, fine. If I really want to eat something sweet, I'll order something like I actually really like that sweet, like a box of donuts or pastry or something. Because then at least I get the satisfaction. Okay, if I have sugar, if I've eaten sugar, it's something I really love. No? So that's what I try to do. Once in a while, obviously, when you travel, you have no control over that. So no digestion, nothing. You eat at 1 in the morning, you sleep at 2, you wake up at 7. Like, okay, that's fine. That's true life. But when I'm not on tour, I try to at least stay consistent and maintain.
Interesting. Finally, what is your message to probably the people who want to make a career in rock music? What would you tell them?
So, like, there's a lot of like conflicting advice, and there's a lot of like good advice also. But my thing is work smart. So you can work hard, and you have to work smart. So you have to have a crazy work ethic, because you have to really believe in that, and want it really really bad. Because I also really really want it bad. I don't think I've actually had any success. Like, I like in my eyes, it's not really success. Like, okay, fine. For me, success is going to be playing on stages like Wacken, playing Download Fest, having 10,000 people headbanging to you playing live. Like, that for me is the feeling I'm chasing. So, and even releasing music and all that is just very fun. The whole journey, like, that's what you should be after, to be able to pursue the journey, not for any extrinsic motivators like money, fame, and all that. Like, fame will come, and they'll come as a side result of, you being dedicated to your craft. And I think you should work hard and smart. Like, you can't just blindly practice 9 hours a day. But if you don't promote yourself on social media, that's not going to get you anything. And I've seen too many good musicians that unfortunately haven't, done that well. So my thing is like, work hard, work very hard at your craft, keep learning, but also work very hard on branding yourself, social media, PR, marketing yourself, because that's how you will get an audience, and then that's how you can maintain doing what you want to do also. That is my advice. So I'm trying to follow it myself. So yeah, I think it's fun.
Interesting. So, Arav, it was thank you so much. It was lovely talking to you. Thank you so much for taking out the time and speaking to us.
Likewise.
It was so interesting to know your journey and what you have to tell people about who want to make a career in rock music. So, thank you so much for taking out the time.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining us. We'll be back again with another episode at the Indulge podcast.